Welcome, everyone. I'm pretty sure this topic is something that has been in your mind every once in a while. We live in a fallen world and it is far from ideal. No point in mentioning that. You already know this yourself.
It's not been easy for me. It has not been easy for me. And, you know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
It doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have. That's really the thing, because I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. So being like, I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track. What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
Let's kick off this discussion by diving into the origins of wealth and how it has been distributed throughout history. Wealth, in its earliest forms, began with basic resources such as land, food, and tools. In ancient societies, wealth was often distributed according to power structures like monarchies or caste systems. It's interesting that, based on prehistoric graves, new research indicates that the wealth gap was prevalent over 6,000 years ago. Bones from these skeletons, which contained carbon-13 isotopes, were often buried with fancier copper goods. Food sources, which eventually connected to human tissue, helped establish this link to prehistoric diets. More prosperous lands led to better diets, and it could be argued that generational wealth could have existed in this way, based on the artifacts and food links mentioned earlier. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution, a turning point that shifted wealth from landowners to industrialists. According to a report by Our World in Data, the Industrial Revolution widened income gaps significantly as factory owners amassed fortunes while workers earned barely enough to survive. This era marked the beginning of systemic inequality, where the rich capitalized on their assets and the poor remained in cycles of poverty. Today, this system of concentrated wealth persists, amplified by technological advancements and globalization. According to the Oxfam report, 1% of the population owns more wealth than 95% of humanity. This historical context sets the stage for today's shocking levels of inequality, where economic systems continue to favor the wealthy few, and it doesn't seem like the tides will turn this century. Let's take a closer look at inequality today. The wealth gap is staggering. The middle class is shrinking, and the bottom half of the population is often burdened by debt and rising living costs. Half of the world's population is almost entirely deprived of wealth. A great example is the United States. Data from the Economic Policy Institute shows that the top 1% of income producers in the U.S. make more than 26 times what the bottom 99% earns. Simultaneously, millions of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, struggling to afford basic necessities like healthcare, housing, and education. Globally, the divide is even more pronounced. The rich are getting richer while the poor are falling further behind, perpetuating cycles of poverty and systemic disadvantage. The poorer countries will be discussed later on. Let's break this down with an example everyone knows. Mr. Beast. He started as a YouTuber making small budget videos and reinvested every dollar he earned into bigger projects. With his current resources, he's able to generate millions of dollars per video. Forbes estimates Mr. Beast's annual earnings to exceed $50 million. This demonstrates a principle called the Matthew Effect, or the rich get richer. When you have wealth, it's easier to make more wealth. For instance, Mr. Beast's success isn't just about hard work. It's about having the resources to leverage his wealth for exponential growth. From hiring teams to producing high-budget content, his access to capital creates a feedback loop of growth. Luck also plays a significant role. Mr. Beast happened to enter YouTube at a time when the platform was growing rapidly and had fewer content creators competing for attention. Being the right person at the right time allowed him to capitalize on this opportunity. Timing is crucial. Whether it's catching the wave of a new technology or being noticed by influential connections, these factors often decide who succeeds. Speed, the popular streamer, offers another example. His over-the-top, sometimes clownish behavior skyrocketed his visibility, earning him millions. Similarly, the Hawk Tuah girl became an internet sensation with a single viral quote. later leveraging her fame to promote dubious ventures like crypto scams. These examples highlight that wealth creation isn't always about skill. It's often about being noticed at the right time and riding the wave of attention. Purely mathematically, it is inevitable to have these examples from billions of people. For most people, though, this cycle isn't achievable. They don't have the capital to invest, nor do they have the perfect storm of timing, luck, and opportunities, leaving them stuck in a cycle of working for survival, not wealth. This example highlights how wealth and resources amplify opportunities, making the gap between rich and poor even wider. Another significant factor in wealth inequality is inheritance. Unlike earned income, inherited wealth gives recipients a massive head start. According to UBS, inheritance overtakes entrepreneurship. This means that much of the wealth in circulation is simply being passed down and not created. And there's no limit to how much someone can inherit. Billionaire heirs like the Walton family of Walmart or the Mars family of Mars candy fame didn't build their fortunes from scratch. They are living proof that wealth begets more wealth, often without any personal effort or merit. These families continue to grow their fortunes through investments, businesses, and favorable tax policies. Inheritance policies often lack sufficient taxation in many countries, allowing these fortunes to grow unchecked while average citizens struggle to build even modest savings. This perpetuates inequality and ensures that wealth remains concentrated in the hands of a few families over generations. At this point, the easiest way to tap into wealth is to marry someone who belongs to this category. However, it is extremely difficult to be in contact with such people and to have access to a network of this kind. Many individuals pursue this option on a smaller scale by traveling from poorer countries to wealthier ones in search of opportunities to strike gold. Now, let's talk about poor countries. To truly understand wealth inequality, we need to compare the lives of people in wealthy nations to those in poorer ones. According to World Bank data, nearly 10% of the global population lives on less than $2.15 a day. This figure is a stark reminder of the immense disparity between different parts of the world. Take, for example, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the average annual income is less than $500. Compare this to the United States, where the median household income exceeds $80,000. This disparity highlights how wealth distribution on a global scale is even more imbalanced than within single countries. It's not just about money, it's about access to clean water, education, and healthcare. Things that are basic rights in wealthy nations but unattainable luxuries in others. For instance, UNICEF reports that nearly 1 in 4 children in sub-Saharan Africa are stunted due to malnutrition, a statistic that's unimaginable in developed nations. This systemic inequality underscores how wealth distribution impacts every aspect of life, from health to opportunities. Finally, why can't everyone be wealthy? The answer lies in basic economics. Wealth is a relative measure. If everyone had $1 million, the price of goods and services would rise, and that million wouldn't hold the same value. This is a concept known as inflation. Additionally, resources are finite. If everyone consumed like the wealthiest people, we would need several Earths to sustain the demand. According to Global Footprint Network, we already use resources at a rate 1.7 times what the planet can regenerate in a year. Overconsumption by the wealthy is not just a moral issue, it's an existential one. Overpopulation plays a huge role in this but will not be discussed, perhaps in another video. Wealth also depends on systems of labor. For someone to be rich, others must perform the labor that creates their wealth. From factory workers producing luxury goods to service industry employees catering to the wealthy, these systems rely on vast economic disparities to function. The elite often benefit from this setup, creating a form of modern servitude where lower classes do the heavy and unpleasant work required to keep society running. This is why hard work motto and other brainwashing ideas exist. People must believe that doing a service for someone else's profit is totally worth it no matter what. What's even more disconcerting is that the wealthy could theoretically monopolize the entire planet's economy. However, they deliberately don't. Why? Because a fully monopolized economy without functional lower and middle classes would mean a lack of workers to sustain their lifestyles. The existence of socioeconomic classes ensures that there's always someone to lift society while being paid inadequately. This deliberate imbalance keeps the wheels turning for the elite, while the majority struggle just to stay afloat. This is why wealth equality is not just improbable, it's strategically avoided. The system is designed to maintain disparities because it's beneficial for those at the top. This stark reality underscores the importance of challenging these systems and advocating for fairer wealth distribution. Merton College provides a really interesting explanation on why the rich should be obliged to give to the poor because they don't deserve what they have. It's only 2 pages long, and I highly recommend reading. Link will be added below. So, there you have it, a breakdown of why wealth distribution is frankly a joke. From its historical roots to today's staggering inequality, the system is designed to favor the few at the expense of the many. Whether it's inheritance, global poverty, or the simple fact that resources are limited, it's clear that true wealth equality is far from reality. Can you do something about it? No. But you have to reconsider your thought process, as I did mine, and I will happily share that with you. Imagine we have a scale from 1 to 10. On the left side, you are at the poorest level possible worldwide. On the right, it's the few people who have wealth that is unimaginable for most of us. Now, let's say we place you somewhere on this scale based on your family's wealth, education level, potential access to opportunities, and other factors. For example, if you're at a 5 on this scale, your life goal should be to reach at least that level or higher. Something like 5.1. If you achieve that, you've succeeded in life. If you started at 5 and wasted everything, ending up at 2, then you failed. This failure I mentioned is only when it comes to your personal actions in life instead of negative events that could not be avoided by anyone and forced you to lose a lot. However, you should never use immoral or illegal methods to achieve your goals. Above all, we must do good for society and leave a positive mark on Earth while we're here. Money is a human construct, and wealthy assets today might be worthless tomorrow. Always think ahead. That is my philosophy, and I believe it could be useful for you as well. If you found this video insightful, please like, comment, and share your thoughts below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what topics you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.